Look in the mirror for a second. Really look. And answer honestly. Just to yourself, no one's listening. Do you like who you see? For a lot of us, most days, the honest answer is not really, or not yet, or some quiet little flinch we've gotten so used to we don't even notice it anymore. And we've all got our reasons. The things we change, the comparison to the person who seems to have it figured out, the sense that we're always a few steps short of being enough. That if we could just fix the right thing, then we'd finally look in that mirror and feel okay. I used to believe that. I used to think the whole game was to keep staring into the mirror until one day I liked what I saw. I don't believe that anymore. And I want to walk you through why. Because I think the mirror has been lying to us about what it can even measure. There's a line from Carl Jung that took me years to actually understand. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. When I first read that, it sounded like a nice piece of wisdom and nothing more. Now I think it's a diagnosis. Because here's what we actually do at that mirror. When you stand there asking, do I like who I see? You're trying to measure something. You're trying to weigh your own worth. And you're using the mirror to do it. Your reflection, your appearance, the story you tell about yourself. And it's not just the literal mirror, it's the other one, the one made of everyone else. What they think of you, what they approve, where you rank. We use all of it as a measuring stick. Am I worth something? Let me check the mirror. Let me check the room. Let me check the numbers. We look outside, and like Jung said, we dream, we never quite wake up. Because here's what took me a long time to see. That instrument can't read the thing you're pointing it at. The mirror shows you a surface. A crowd shows you an opinion. Neither one can actually see your worth. And yet we keep holding them up, squinting, waiting for them to give us a number. It's like trying to weigh something with a thermometer. You can stare at it all day. It was never built to tell you that. So the very thing most of us do to feel better about ourselves, look harder, monitor more, check the room one more time, is the thing that keeps us stuck. The looking is the wound. But okay, if the mirror can't measure it, then what's actually there to measure? What is this worth we're all so anxious about? That's where it gets interesting, because I don't think it's one thing, I think it's two. Let me ask you a strange question. What if part of you was never up for evaluation at all? I'll tell you what I've come to believe, and you can hold it as a question as long as you need to. I think there's a part of every one of us that's already whole. Not perfect like a finished product, perfect like a source. The part that's actually doing the living, the thing that's awake behind your eyes right now, watching these words. People have called it a lot of things. The oldest word is the spirit. But I don't love that word. It carries a lot of baggage I don't mean. So I'm going to call it something else. I think of it as the spark, a kind of creative current, the energy that enlivens you, that's doing the animating, before you've achieved a single thing or earned anyone's approval. And I don't think that spark is broken or lacking or waiting to earn its place. I think it's a piece of something much larger than you, much larger than me. The same current running through every other living thing, looking out of every other set of eyes. And your share of it is fine. It always was. If that's true, and I've come to believe it is, then there's a floor underneath you that no mirror can crack, a part of your worth that was never a question. You don't build it, you don't earn it, you can only forget it, and most of us have. Sit with that for a second. Not you're enough as a slogan someone hands you, but the possibility that the deepest part of you was complete before you ever started measuring. That's the relief. That's the floor. But, and this is the part the gentle, feel-good version always skips, that's not the whole of you. Because you're not only that spark, you're also a person, a character moving through the world, with habits and patterns and a direction you're heading, whether you chose it or not. And that part, the constructed self, that one isn't finished. That one you built. Marcus Aurelius wrote something about this almost 2,000 years ago, sitting alone at night as a Roman emperor, trying to keep himself honest. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. He meant it almost mechanically. Dip cloth in dye over and over, and the color becomes permanent. He believed your thoughts do that to you. And he was right about the machine. Here it is, and it works whether or not you believe a word I said about the spark. It starts with a thought. The thought stirs a feeling. The feeling drives an action. And the action, here's the trap and the key, the action reinforces the original thought. And around it goes. Let me make it real. The thought, I always mess this up. The feeling, a kind of heavy dread, before you've even started. The action, you do it half-heartedly. You hold back. You don't really try, because why would you? You always mess it up. And the result, you don't do well. Which proves the thought, which makes the feeling heavier next time. The loop tightens. And you call it just being realistic about yourself. That's the soul getting dyed a darker color, one thought at a time. But the loop runs the other way too. And it's the same machine. The thought, I can get better at this. Not, I'm great, just, I can improve. The feeling, a little opening, a little willingness. The action, you actually try. You stay in it a beat longer. You treat the mistake as information instead of a verdict. And you get a little better, which feeds the thought, which lifts the feeling. The loop opens. This is what I mean when I say you build yourself. Not in one heroic decision, in the quiet direction of the loop 10,000 times, and it starts at the thought, which is why watching your thoughts isn't novel gazing. It's maintenance on the only machine that's actually building you. So here's where I've landed. Here's what I actually believe, now that we've walked the whole way here. You are already something whole. The spark, the part of you that's alive, aware, a piece of the whole. That part needs no fixing, and it never did. And you are also something you built, the person, the character, the direction. That's real work, and it's yours, and you have the tools. And almost all of the suffering, the flinch at the mirror, the endless checking of the room, comes from one mistake, measuring both of those with a reflection that can read neither. The mirror can't see the spark. The crowd can't weigh your becoming. You handed your worth to instruments that were never built to read it, and then you believe they're broken numbers. There's an old line from Lao Tzu that I think holds the whole thing. Knowing others is wisdom. Knowing the self is enlightenment. And then, a few lines later, he who knows he has enough is rich. You already have enough. Not enough money, not enough approval, enough self. The floor was always there. So I'll leave you with two things to actually carry. Not slogans, practices. The first, when the flinch comes, remember the floor. There's a part of you, the spark, that was complete before any of this. You don't have to feel it on command. You just have to stop forgetting it's there. The second, and do this one daily. Watch the loop. Catch one thought, just one. See where it's trying to send the feeling. And the action, and the verdict it's setting you up to prove. And then choose the thought that opens the loop, instead of the one that tightens it. You're choosing what color to dye the soul. You won't do it perfectly, do it anyway. That's the whole of building a self. We started with a question. Do you like who you see? I think, after all this, it might just be the wrong question. The better one, the one worth asking every morning, isn't, do I like who I see? It's, which way am I building?